does. So I kind of mentioned this earlier about my Commanders, but I guess we can go on to the next unfortunate trending topic. Are you into football?
Honestly, I'm not the biggest football guy. I
Okay.
always tap in around the Super Bowl. So, like, I knew what was happening yesterday just
Yesterday.
because, like, a lot of my friends were, like, tapped in. Yeah, yeah.
Were they rooting for the Eagles?
So, yeah. So, a lot of
Oh,
my friends are
God.
from the East Coast. We were rooting for the Eagles. Um,
That's such a
I'm a Jersey
shame.
guy. They're out in Philly. So, like,
That's such a
we usually, like,
shame.
rival. But when it comes to moments
Yeah.
like this, it's like, all right,
All
we
right, let's band
support.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, number one, I will say I'm so proud of the Commanders because no one thought we would make it this far. Oh my
Right.
gosh, like it's been 33 years since we even made it to an NFC championship, so that was huge. I am sad how badly we lost because
Yeah.
the one thing about Philly fans, oh my gosh, all down my timeline. Like the
Yeah,
text
they're very
messages, they're
loud.
very loud. Win or lose, loud. Loud as hell. Like I was telling folks, like, even if they lose, they're burning the streets. If they win, they're burning the streets. It does
Either
not
way, you're gonna
matter.
see them, you're gonna feel them, you're gonna know that they're
Yes.
there. So it's kind of hard to ignore.
It's so hard to ignore. And trust me, I want to ignore right now. It's all down my timeline, but we're right back to what I feel like just happened. Well, not just happened. I don't think last year was Eagles. Wasn't it the year before?
I think it might have been the year before, but don't quote me.
Right. Eagles and the Chiefs. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of the Chiefs. I am a hater. I will fully say it. I'm a hater.
Yeah, I feel like there's this thing that happens across all sports when it's like the same people end up being in the finals. You just get
Yeah.
so exhausted because I remember like there was an era when it was just always like the Lakers versus Golden
Yep.
State or like whatever team
Yep.
LeBron was on versus Golden
Mhm.
State. And then it's just like, okay, can we get some new players in the mix? Can we get a little
Right.
excited? So I feel like when the Commanders were close to making it,
I
people were just
know. People were
excited to see a
excited.
different matchup than we've seen in recent times. But it's like, I
Here
don't
we
know. I
go
feel like whatever
again.
Kansas City is doing is working for them because they just are the team to beat.
Do you believe the conspiracies though? Have you seen them about
I
people thinking
have.
that they're like cheating? It kind of reminds me of the Patriots too, like with Tom
Yeah.
Brady, with Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I didn't watch the Bills versus Chiefs game, but
Mhm.
apparently there was like a couple of calls that they were like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, I can't say too much specifically when it comes to sports, but when you kind of zoom out and think about like media and what we
Mm,
consume, a lot of it is staged. A lot of it is curated to
really?
like, you know, okay,
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that I'm a part of that team, like staging stuff, not
Yeah,
quite, but
yeah.
like when you even think of like the Grammys or like any like
Mhm.
major like award show, it's like
Mhm.
one, there's a certain winner that people are most excited to see win, and those
Mm.
things tend to generate the most, buzz
Views.
and
Yeah.
views and
Yeah.
engagement. So will I say that it's all necessarily staged? Maybe not, but I think there
Mhm.
are certain things that are kind of like set up to get the desired outcome more likely,
Yeah.
knowing that like, okay, if the Chiefs
Ugh.
make it to the Super Bowl, there's going to be so many moments where Taylor
Right.
Swift is on
Taylor
the jumbo stream.
exactly.
America loves Taylor Swift, even if
Yeah.
not all of us necessarily do.
Yeah.
But there are going to be a lot of people who want to see, what does Taylor wear to her
Right.
man's like Super Bowl game? Like, what
100%.
is she wearing? What's her hair? Like, there's a whole
Ugh.
segment of people who are
Yeah.
not watching football before that will want to know. And
Right.
so I wouldn't be surprised if there are people who can kind of
Yeah.
like shift it to make it happen that way.
Well, that's why they also think that it's a PR stunt. If
Yeah.
we're being honest, the whole like pop girl football, like, oh my gosh, it's a High School Musical. Like it's
Right.
like a lot of people think that that's set up for that exact reason. Um, so let's keep going with the Super Bowl. Kendrick's performing,
Yeah.
and you're talking about this whole like media. Some things are like a little bit scripted. I love that you said that because I was actually listening to another podcast today. I don't know if you heard of like the new Rory and Mal podcast.
Put me
Well,
on.
Maul is the biggest
Oh, the
Drake.
Rory and Mal pod.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Rory
yeah,
and Maul
yeah, yeah.
podcast. Okay, yes, yes. So you know about Rory and his feelings towards Kendrick. So he's always
Right.
gonna find a way to hate. Love the podcast down, but always gonna find a way to hate. And he was saying like about how SZA was like in the promo.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, do you guys think that Kendrick and SZA are now doing a joint performance because Kendrick couldn't like do it on his own?" Which is crazy. I think instead, in my mind, number one, and he was just saying the timing of the rollout just seems like, oh, was it like rehearsals going on and they were like, oh, you need to bring someone else in here? I don't believe that
I
to
don't
be
believe that
true.
at all.
I don't believe that at all. I think it's also very intentional, like you're saying, when it comes to media. Like, who else would make more sense? They have so many freaking songs
They could
together,
do a Super Bowl set of just their
just their
songs, and it
songs.
would still be a great show.
Absolutely. So exactly like you said, like I feel you already know that there's gonna be another guest. Like
Mhm.
most people do that anyway. Usually it's a surprise who comes on. I think we all figured it would be SZA. So I feel like this is just now kind of like getting people more excited for the performance. But I think that's kind of crazy that he was like she's needed.
No, I don't think she's needed. I think she's gonna be a great addition.
Yeah.
I think she can either do like half a song or do 3 songs, and we'll still
Mhm.
like really enjoy her being there. But Kendrick Lamar is easily one of the best
The
performers
best
out right now
yes.
across all genres,
Oh,
across
okay.
specifically rap.
I was
I
gonna
feel
say
like
he's the best with rap, but you're saying all
yeah, I'm not gonna
genres.
say he's the best. I think that's like a really like intense conversation that we could probably spend an entire podcast episode talking about. But
Yeah.
like out of rap, I would say
Yeah.
he's probably the best. And then out
Mhm.
of music as a whole, actively right now, releasing music in their prime,
Mm.
easily like top 5, top 10. Easily, yeah.
Okay, for sure. I'm down to say he's the best out of rap. The only
Okay.
person I think that's coming close to him is Travis Scott.
Yes. Travis Scott is
That's the only
great. He
one.
has a lot of energy. I think it becomes like more of like a personal preference type of conversation because
Yeah.
to me Travis Scott like brings a lot of energy. He does a lot of the jumping around. His
Mhm.
stages are like really
The
like
production is there.
top tier, like
Yeah.
think way outside the box.
Mhm.
But I almost feel like Kendrick still occupies this space of like traditional performance where like he dances a little bit. He does
Yeah,
a little bit of
yeah.
choreography. He
Yes.
incorporates, different elements of the stage,
He's storytelling
storytelling.
literally throughout the
Exactly.
entire performance. I'm going to the concert
Oh,
in
nice.
June.
Are you
I
gonna go to the LA show or are you gonna go
No, I'm
to the one
going
out
to
here?
the DC show,
Oh,
but that's his
nice.
last show
Okay,
of the
cool.
tour, so I feel like it's gonna be huge.
Bring out some
I'm
surprise
hoping.
guests and
Yes,
stuff. Yeah.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. It's also I want to say it's on. Oh no, it might be June 18th, not
Okay.
Juneteenth, but
It's
close
that week,
enough.
so it's pretty close. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And DC is Chocolate City. I lived in DC for like 5 years, so that's like
Yes.
a
Yeah,
huge
I feel like
element.
he's gonna do a huge one for us. So I'm super excited about that. Super excited for the performance. Do you think though, this is another huge debate. Let's do a quick little prediction. Is he gonna perform They Not Like Us? Now you're the media person, right? So do you think that they're gonna allow him to say pedophile on live TV?
I've been having this conversation with a lot of friends, a lot of people within the media space,
Yeah.
because it is so tricky. You obviously have two of the most global rap stars involved in a
Hmm.
beef. So this obviously has gone outside of just the mainstream, rap scene. It
Yeah.
definitely has like gone to the mainstream media. But I think it's still a thing that is kind of encapsulated within our community. And when you
Mm.
bring that song to the Super Bowl halftime show, that gets like on average anywhere between 110 to 125 million people just in the US alone.
Yeah.
I think that does kind of, project that message to a larger crowd. And I don't know. I've
Yeah.
honestly thought that they're not gonna let him perform that song. And part of me thinks that that is actually why Drake has this whole lawsuit
Yeah,
situation
with
versus like
UMG.
UMG, because
Mhm.
maybe they can get a way to like put a block on the song temporarily. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. Part of me also thinks that like Kendrick knows that this moment has been really big for him, and
Right.
he's obviously like used as a launch pad to drop his last album, GNX. He's
Yeah.
doing the Super Bowl. He's going on tour with SZA.
Yeah.
The reception around his most recent music is way bigger than it was around Big Steppers. Honestly, I love that album. I thought it
Yeah,
was great,
yeah.
but when you compare it to like the music he was coming out with before, it didn't
Absolutely.
have the same level of like cultural like wow moment.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like he doesn't want to center too much of his career around Drake.
Around the beef.
You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense. That
So
makes
it's almost a
sense.
power move to be like, yeah, this was the number one song for like five
That's
weeks last year.
true.
Yeah, it's nominated for a whole bunch of Grammys. He'll probably have won some Grammys for the
Yeah.
song by the time the Super Bowl halftime show happens. But
Yeah.
like, a part of me feels like he wants that to just be a moment and just leave it there, which is why it
Yeah.
also wasn't on GNX. So
Mhm.
in my
I
mind,
agree.
he might not even perform it because he doesn't want to. Hopefully.
That would be so sad. I feel like he
Ah.
kind of also has to, but I completely agree with you. A lot of people were also predicting that he was gonna put "They Not Like Us" on GNX because
Mhm.
that's an automatic number one, right? But I don't like when artists do
Just
that.
tag on a song that wasn't really a part of the moment.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it would make no sense on GNX if he did include it. You know, at that point, you might as well just add all the Eve
Right,
songs,
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
or just drop a EP with all of them.
Not a bad
Um,
idea.
but yeah, no, I I completely agree. Like I definitely can see him saying like, okay, that was just like one moment. I even think about his little shady reference of like no round twos,
Mhm.
kind of responding back to Drake like we're not doing this anymore, like we're done.
Yeah.
I also feel as if some people who likes to forget about like his damn album, for example, and just forget like how amazing Kendrick Lamar is as a performer, as an artist, all together. They like to act like the only reason why he's even performing is because of the Drake beef.
Yeah, that's so
As if
silly.
like he wouldn't be able to be on that stage regardless before or not. He's also been on that stage before,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
as a special guest. But yeah, I could see him like saying, yeah, I don't want to perform this song, like you said, because you don't want to just keep adding validity to like everyone else's comments. I could also see it just being like maybe the instrumental,
Yeah.
like in the
Which still
beginning. And then
sends
he
like a
just,
message.
it sends a
But it doesn't
message.
have to like, because you already know, like if he
Yes,
does the song, all the headlines are gonna be about that song, and it almost
absolutely.
overshadows his legacy in some way.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
almost feel
yeah.
like, that special guest performance that you mentioned that he did
Hmm.
a few years ago was almost like his tryout. And we've seen people do
Yeah.
that before where they have like the special guest moment and then a few years down the road,
They
they
get
end up
the
having their own moment.
exactly.
And he did such a great job with that that I
He
feel
was the
like he
best.
was the best,
He
easily
was
the
the
best. And even in
best.
that moment, he had I want to say like one of
Yeah.
the least amount of times out of all the
He
surprise
had like
guests,
2
and
minutes.
he killed it and made it
Absolutely
so
killed it.
Kendrick.
Yeah,
So
1000%. I'm so excited. I think honestly, some of my friends want to go out, but I'm like, I want to be home. I just kind of like, I want to be on a TV, like maybe if we did a house party or something like that, but
yeah,
I want to properly watch the performance. Even if it has to be a watch party, it can't be a bar where
yeah.
everyone's going to be talking over it. Like I need to properly hear this performance and be locked in.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And last thing I would say, it's probably going to be a great time to be around people who actually love football and also love music because they're going
Right.
to be locked in for both elements. I think sometimes people kind of just
Exactly.
like zone out when it comes to the halftime show if they're
Yeah.
not really into music, but pick the right crowd and you'll have a great time.
100%. 100%.